What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? Well, find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Welcome back to Xenu TV. It's great to have you here. And we are, of course, once again broadcasting throughout this entire sector of the galaxy and concentrating specifically here on our home planet of Chijiak. So I have something that I hope you'll find fun tonight. And it's something that I had on the web on my old channel, Xenu TV 1. And I have not been able to find the master tape. So I did download it from my old site, try to spruce it up a little bit, and we'll talk about that as folks come tumbling here into the chat room. I hope everyone enjoyed our late night broadcast last night. It seemed to be very popular. And I think this will be entertaining and interesting as well, as we have a special guest star way back in 2008 who is coming to chat with us all. And his name, Billy Sheehan, a rock guitarist legend, apparently. I say apparently because, again, I listened to Bing Crosby and Mel Torme and Rosemary Clooney. So I did not recognize Billy Sheehan when he came out and offered to have a Comm cycle with anyone who was interested. And it's kind of quiet here tonight. So I'm just gonna fill. That's what I'll do. I'll fill. I was going to go to a movie last night. I don't know if I mentioned this before, or it might have been the night before now. And I bought a ticket. I was just about to head out the door, going to the AMC, and they sent me a message saying, "Don't come." Not because they were concerned I wouldn't like the film, but apparently something technical happened in the theater that kind of shut the place down. So they said, we're refunding your ticket. So I missed out. I want to see it. I want to see this film. It's one of the Oscar contenders. And by God, I will see it. That's my commitment to myself. World, you're not going to hold me down. I'm seeing that film. Okay, now Scientology, of course, is going to go sabotage the theater. If they worried that I'm going to see a film, they'll probably create chaos there and shut it down again. Those rascals. Well, it seems to be a slow time right now, so I'm not seeing anyone coming in yet. Life is hard. Yes, Kelly, life is incredibly hard. Kelly did have a delightful night tonight, going to the pub with friends and having the best steak sandwich she's ever had in her life. And tomorrow is another festive occasion because it's her birthday, everyone. And we're all gonna, say happy birthday to you. I'm spreading this around. Who do we have popping up here? Oh, I better put on my glasses. T, Perth Scientology Audit. Good day, she says. Good day to you too. And say hello to Kelly. Everybody wave to Kelly. It is just hours away from her birthday. So that is something to celebrate. She has been my mod for almost the entire length of me stumbling through these broadcasts, and she does a great job. So I appreciate everything she's done. Lurking while I'm working, says T. I won't tell your boss. This is top secret. Sure, I put it on screen, but no one let the boss know that she's here. Okay. Boop. Well, this is going up on the screen. How about that? Happy birthday wishes for Kelly. Woohoo. Oh, and that's right. It's in the future. It's already your birthday there, Kelly. Start celebrating. Oh, well, you did. You went out with friends and had dinner. Boy. Jen D also says, happy birthday, Kelly. Yes, indeed. I wish I had a little horn to toot. All I can do is like a little duck noise. That's about it. All right. So as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself, no, you got to say it like in LRH, future. Where's he say that? I know I've heard him say that, but is there a specific lecture or anything where he said that? I know I know I've heard him say galaxy. That's one of my favorite things. The science fiction writer, is calling it the galaxy. Tampa A, love to Kelly. Come to Tampa next trip. We've got you. Oh, how about that, Kelly? And how about me? I have birthdays too. Sure, not now, not anytime soon. But I'll be happy to celebrate you. You're in Tampa. You're right nearby, for God's sakes. Anyway. So as I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself, this video I'm going to show tonight is from 2008. And T's got the info for me. In the Xenu lecture and motion picture, I did a shorts compilation of it. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Kelly, well, if you could find that link, Kelly, as you said the last time we went through something like this, you put a link in the chat, and apparently I could just click that link and it will play for everyone. If that's the case, we ought to try it. Already looking, she's on it. This gal, she doesn't rest. She's got every reason to sit back and just bask in the glory of this being her birthday celebratory period. Tonight, tomorrow. But nope, she's hard at work. So we have to hear Hubbard talking about the motion pictures and the future. I never had a second wife. Okay. So back in 2008, when Anonymous started their protests of Scientology, I think it was the very first one because I introduced this. This is Wise Beard Man from the past who's going to open up this video I'm going to play. And I believe I say it's February 10th, 2008, which would have been, I believe, the very first anonymous protest in LA. Hubbard's mispronunciations. How about that? That's the name of T's short video. We're digging it up. It's going to be fun. So, so in this video, I kind of say, hey, listen, this is what happened today, and let's take a look at the video, just like I'm doing now. hey, this is what happened in 2008. Let's take a look at it. So it's kind of a time loop thing. This is a Groundhog Day type of event. T says, I need to make another one with Galaxy, I reckon. Well, of course. Because I want to make sure Galaxy sweeps the nation. Well, or sweeps the galaxy. We have to. Gosh, I feel so honored. And you should feel so honored. All right. So I'm going to show this video that I tried to improve the quality of. And I have a confession to make. I failed. I can't find the raw footage of this. It's probably buried somewhere in all of my tapes, but I have yet to find it. So I couldn't go back to the original to try to make that look better. That was shot in standard def, like all of these other video of protests we've been watching. But I was able to take the video that I put up on my old channel, Xeno TV 1, which is in horrible quality. I downloaded that and tried to improve that and failed miserably. But I'm still going to show you the failure because I think the failure looks a little bit better than how it looks as it's streaming now. And there's a little wrinkle to it that I'll mention to you. Sometimes if you're trying to upscale something that is just impossible, the quality is lousy, it will do funky things. And you'll see a little bit of that funkiness in the video tonight, where people's eyes seem a little odd. And I have a sample here of what I'm talking about. First, let's see if I can click on this and play this video. How's this go? How do I do this? Well, that didn't work. Okay. Share screen. Oh, okay. So it's not actually taking me to the link. Let me try it again. No, it's just appearing on the screen. So let me see. Can I copy and paste that? Or is there? Well, let me fumble around. Hey, here's what I can do. I can ban the user and delete their comments. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Well, what's the name of the channel? Swedish Lena. Hi, thanks for coming here to watch me fumble around. And T's happy to see you too. She says, hello, darling. Thank you for your help. You are amazing. XX. I would like one of those X's. I'm going to steal one of hers. So X for Swedish Lena and one X for me. Okay. Perth Scientology audit featured. Let me try going to that. Everybody, keep yourself occupied while I stumble around here. YouTube. Let me check that again. Perth Scientology audit. Okay. Featured. What did I do wrong? Because I could share this. It says page not available. So let me take away that featured. Nope. Let's see what else I got wrong. Oh, at person. Let me try that. I didn't put the at in there. Good Lord. Tell you what. Well, I'm doing this. Yeah. No, it's longer. For the build up for your clip. Everybody, just sit back and enjoy the full theme.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? You beat your wife, you kick up Huck. We'll find your crimes and rake it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Hey, that's not the full theme song. Well, then didn't give me time. I'm listening to that going, wait a minute. How come those lyrics are so early in the song? All right. Look in the private chat. Private chat. Hey, that worked. All right. Got it. Success. I've learned something. Yes. Okay. Let's come back here and let me share the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a video about Hubbard's weird pronunciation, straight from D at Perth Scientology Audit. Let me share the screen here. There we go. Let's see. Is it sharing? Okay, it is.
Find out what's wrong with him and the body, Satan. Let's just get little hits on. Let's just get some data. You can even measure the speed of an electrical impulse through the nerve channels. XEMU to the supreme ruler. Motion picture.
Very nice. Well, it's going to start up the live stream that we're doing right now. Isn't that fun? Let's not watch that. Okay, let's shut that down. Here we go. Well, I'm glad we could share that. Supreme Ruler. I'm working on a song that is called The Supreme Ruler. And there's a good reason for me to be making that song and a whole bunch of other songs. And I will talk about that later when it's time to reveal everything. Okay, so now we've got this wonderful video of mine from 2008, and it's going to look a little wacky, a little funky. And as I was talking about, sometimes when you try to improve really crappy looking video, it gives you very odd distortions. And you're going to see a little bit of that tonight. But here, I'm going to show you what I mean. These are a few stills from Slappy Miscavige announcing that the war with the IRS is over and they were victorious. You'll see that gives him cross eyes. And, you know, that's not what we're looking for. But when I saw it, I laughed out loud. So I wanted to share it with you as well. We've got a few shots here. Slappy. And as he's talking, the eyes are rolling all around. So you get some delightful images of him. And I think this is the way Slappy should always look, personally. So you'll see a little bit of that in this video tonight of Billy Sheehan, and Tommy Gorman is a former Scientologist who comes and talks to him for a while. So their eyes are a little wacky, but you know, I think overall it's a more viewable video than the one that I had originally on the website. DR. Oh, wait a minute before we get to DR. Rob Lee Android. His eyes are out ethics. I like that. And DR asks, Mark, in your research in filmmaking, did you come across any of the Hubbard-directed Scientology films? No, I never did. I'd love to see them. And you know who we need to ask about that is Mitch, who redid a lot of those Hubbard films. I know he's talked on his channel about the old movies that look so unprofessional, you know, the ones that Hubbard directed. How about films of the various Scientology events, Auditor's Day, LRH's birthday, etc.? I do have some videos of events, usually not great quality. Although I did get pretty much a master tape of the Tom Cruise tape, which is what I leaked out when it originally got out into the wild, and we'll talk about that in full someday. But the events that I have are varying quality. Some are okay, some are dreadful. The only piece of really interesting footage that I have is available to anyone if they were willing to shell out money for it. There was a clearing Congress that Scientology gussied up, and they were very proudly selling this new DVD box set with the written transcripts of everything. It's a beautiful deluxe box that it's in, and they were charging, I think, like $240 for it for Scientologists. And I went on eBay and found it for $4. So I got that. And it's the only color film of Hubbard doing a Congress, apparently. So that's in good shape, thanks to all those folks at Golden Era who cleaned it up for me. But I haven't really used any of that. And you know, this is Kelly for you. This, you know, she should be resting. For God's sakes, she went out, had dinner with her friends, and getting prepared for the birthday celebration that hits. The birthday comes up here in 45 minutes. It's already her birthday in Australia. But here she is taking the time out to show how you can support me. Hit that button and make sure that you're subscribed. It's easy and free. There you go. Wise words. Resting in your old age. How about that? I find that hard to believe. Link to subscribe, gift, or sign up for memberships. Other good options. Thank you. Keeps me going strong. So let's get back to actually watching some of this video, which is difficult for me. A bargain, says Robert. Someone else probably paid $400. Well, as I said, officially on the Scientology website, members could buy it for $240, and I was able to buy it for $4. So, it seems grossly unfair that members had to pay so much more than me, but that's the definition of Scientology: grossly unfair, milking their members for everything they can. So at the beginning of this video, you're going to see me doing essentially this, turning on the camera and doing a little intro to the video. I don't like looking at these old videos of me, but it's part of history. And this was shortly after I was named Wise Beard Man. This is really the first picket that Anonymous did once they came out to start protesting around the world. Okay, so let's pull that up here and start watching.
This is Mark Bucker from Xenu TV. On February 10th, Anonymous held its first global picket of Scientology, and it was a huge success, with thousands of people around the world protesting Scientology fraud and abuse. I attended their protest in LA. The first person I met was celebrity Scientologist Billy Sheehan, legendary bass guitarist. And he was very nice to sit down and actually give us an interview. I'd like to share that with you now, and I want to thank Billy for doing that. I think it's good when we can actually have a civil communication, and in Scientology's terms, a comm cycle. So thank you, Billy, and let's take a look.
I'm a Scientologist since 1971. I do not hate. I'm willing and happy to discuss anything about my religion.
Oh, that's it. True.
Oh, what's your name?
My name is Billy.
Billy?
Sir.
Tell me, your sign says you've been in since 1971?
Yes, sir.
Where are you on the bridge?
See, I stopped it for a reason. I had mentioned this story in a previous video, which, it bears repeating because no one would remember that I made comments about this. But when I arrived at this protest site, the Anonymous members were pointing out this ice truck that was parked right across the street from Big Blue. Oddly, the only thing in this empty lot, and the windows were blacked out. And people thought, well, this is some spy vehicle, and they're in there videotaping us and all this other stuff. So I went over and started pounding on the blacked out windows and trying to get them to give us some ice, and got everybody chanting. And then once I walked away from it because no one was coming out, a few minutes after that, this van started up and sped away. So I think we were right. That was the surveillance vehicle that they were using, and you can see that on the left edge of the screen in this video. Go back to Billy here.
OT3.
Terrific. So what happens in OT3? Are
Right
you
there.
dealing with body thetans at that point?
I'm not at liberty to discuss it, but it's quite an extensive thing.
Right. But you have found out about Xenu then, and the incident number 2, I believe it is, where Xenu blew us up in a volcano.
He can't talk.
Of course, I'm not at liberty to discuss that, but I can discuss anything.
So your sign says you're happy to discuss anything about your religion,
Yes, sir.
and immediately you won't discuss anything about your religion.
Oh yeah. Well, there's certain things that I made an agreement to keep confidential. But if you like, you know, I've got nothing to hide.
Except OT3.
No.
Well, let me just say this. You know, I'm in the outside world. I'm not a Scientologist.
Okay.
I'm able to talk about OT3.
Okay.
I'm free to discuss it.
God bless you.
And it just amazes me that you join a group where they tell you to think for yourself,
Yes, sir.
and yet you're not allowed to think for yourself. They tell you,
I do think for myself.
but they tell you not to discuss OT3, and you agree not to.
I did agree not to discuss it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But that's just because there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And that is, it can be confusing and upsetting to someone to get involved in something that is farther along than they happen to be at present time. Like teaching nuclear physics to a very young person can seem very, very confusing. Where, you know, I learned how Wright brothers got up in the air and learned some basics in chemistry before I did that. That's basically all there is to it. And I understand your concern and I understand your disagreement, and I respect you for it.
Very good. I appreciate that understanding, and I'm not trying to attack you
I don't
for those beliefs either.
I don't feel.
I'm just concerned because, you know, I have read L. Ron Hubbard's handwritten OT3 material, and I believe I do understand it.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem, you know, that it really should necessarily be hidden. But
Well, it's not. It's all over the internet. Versions of it. I don't know how accurate they are. I've looked at most of them. I looked at most every website there is.
but what you've seen on the internet, then you say is you know, pretty accurate.
Actually, no. I have to say.
Now, hang on. The handwritten material you cannot say is not accurate. I did OT3.
Okay.
That is OT3. The handwritten material from L. Ron Hubbard, that's it.
Okay.
You can't say it isn't unless you're lying. Flat out.
I'm not going to lie to you.
It's one or the other, man.
I'm not going to lie no matter what.
Okay, so handwritten material is handwritten material. That's Hubbard.
But I
No. That's Hubbard.
Okay.
That's what he said. That's OT3. That's what you read when you get on the level.
Okay. I would like to respectfully disagree, but I see your point.
Which part are you disagreeing with?
I don't believe it's completely accurate.
Which part?
The written stuff is edited.
How?
I've seen it, and I know how because I've seen the original as they've been edited.
I've seen the original, and that's exactly what it is. And I was on OT7. So, it was. But anyway, all right, so we'll agree to disagree.
I have respect for you.
Gotcha. So let me see.
Well, how are having with the visceral in his bloodstream?
And again, I'm so impressed that Billy was willing to come out there and actually do this. I mean, he certainly didn't need to be putting himself out to answer questions from masked individuals, and he was a good, decent man, and we continued to email each other for a while after that. As far as I know, he is still in.
Say again?
Albert Hubbard had visceral in his bloodstream when he died.
I wasn't there. I know.
well,
You know his
it's not
doctor. His doctor.
He died of cancer already.
He was my doctor before he died.
Me too.
You say you'd be right.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
He had a place, yeah. What about the visceral? And that section's right anonymous over here. But Scientology says that you cannot take any psychiatrist or case to see a psychiatrist. Well, what about the guy that died and killed that lady who stabbed her 77 times on it was his birthday? What was his name?
That was my auditor, Ellie Perkins.
Perkins, Jeremy
was
Perkins.
my personal friend and auditor. We
Jeremy
Scientology
Perkins.
together.
Yeah, I knew her
I know her
too.
son.
Right.
I know their family. There's a horrible tragedy. Ellie was a beautiful, wonderful person who really just wanted to help people. I know. She was my personal friend.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with her. It's just the kid never got any help. That's the problem.
I know.
But I mean, just don't say you know, and it's like,
But I do
it's
know,
a
'cause
huge
I know,
deal.
I know her personally. Yes, it was a huge deal.
Personally too, I'm not talking about Ellie. I'm talking about the son who never got any of the help that he needed, medical help. I have a medical condition. I was in your church. They made me get off my medicine. So I speak from very personal experience on this, okay?
And I just wanted to point out that they're talking about Ellie Perkins, in case you missed that, the woman who was murdered by her son who was having a psychotic break. And now back to the video. I do have a
And
video.
that's not right.
May I say something?
Yes.
I got back from China on a trip to China, and I was very, very sick. I don't know what the hell I had. And my auditor showed up at my house, drove me to the emergency room, and made sure that I got medical care. And that's all. That's a fact of life.
Okay.
Now,
Well,
Ellie was my personal friend. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
but we're not talking about Ellie.
Well, let me get to that, because let me preface it by saying, Ellie, so you know who I'm speaking of. Her son, I knew her son.
Okay.
I saw her son. I hung out with her son.
Do you think he needed medical care?
Something was wrong with the kid.
Yeah, Bing?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I don't know if he needed medical care, because I don't necessarily believe mental problems are medical in nature, but I'm not alone in this. And
So you're for the vitamin. I know they're not. I know, but
you can't cure psychosis with vitamins.
What can you cure?
I don't think you can cure anything with vitamins. You could just make your body healthier so it can maybe cure itself. But I don't believe vitamins are a cure for anything.
So what would have helped Ellie's son to prevent the tragedy?
I think they were about that day. They were about to send him off to a place where he could be cared for. Just a quiet place in the country.
You know,
like Lisa McPherson, locked in her room.
I don't know. I don't know if he's a type 3. I don't know.
No, for like a type 3, that's to do the type 3. But it's not a Scientology facility. Most of you guys are going to think it's about psychiatrists.
No, it was a place to care for people with enough problems. It wasn't necessarily.
That isn't psychiatrist.
You can find out the name of it for you.
Yeah.
Dot Perkins, her husband, is still different.
So you're going to do that the day before this happened, the day when it happened, or what?
The day it happened, he heard about it. I think he freaked out. I think that's what happened.
ask how you got into Scientology.
Yeah, somebody knocked at my door and sold me a Dianetics book. And I opened it up, and it answered exactly the question I had at that moment, which was, I know my past is affecting me now. How can I stop it from affecting me adversely? And I started off in 1971, and it's been a wonderful experience, a great adventure. I'm very happy.
Perfect. What are you doing? But do you have other family members who are in Scientology?
My sister.
And did she come in after you got in?
Yes.
Okay. How about your other family members? How are they reacting to?
My other sister's a Catholic, very devout Catholic. My mother's a very devout Catholic too. My uncle, who recently passed away, was as high as you could be in the Catholic Church without being a priest. He was a deacon or something in the Catholic Church. He was a translator for the Vatican also. So my family's very Catholic, and I have much more respect for the Catholic Church now than I ever did when I was going to church.
Right. And I hope you can understand that when I'm talking about Scientology and speaking out against it, I just like to see some of the abuses reformed the same way that I appreciate those good Catholics who stood outside the church in Boston demanding that something be done about the child sex abuse.
I understand. I believe it's important to have a dialogue, and that's why I say I'm willing to discuss, what I can discuss. I know you made your point before, and I respect that.
Right.
But that's kind of like that's an area that unfortunately I can't speak about. But
Terrific. I appreciate that. I understand.
Any other aspect of it, situation with anybody, any disagreement. But I believe in peace, and everyone that's come up, this gentleman with the mask came up and shook my hand, and it was very cool. And I had no hatred here.
Good.
I have respect for these people and respect for the right to protest.
Good, and I certainly respect you for coming out and telling your side too, and speaking out.
What about the...
Isn't this a nice contrast to all the bull baiting that you saw in the videos from Clearwater? What are your crimes? What are your crimes? This type of approach would solve a lot of Scientology's problems if they would just be willing to speak, have that calm cycle. After all, communication is the universal solvent. You can quote me. And now, back to Billy Sheehan. By doing this.
You're public? You're public?
Yes, sir.
Now, so will you get in trouble or are you PTS for being here? Or I don't think so, but
I'm a free thinker, and I'm allowed to do or.
Do you mind saying what org you frequent or go to?
Cure and celebrity stuff.
So, like, if when they're seeing this video on the internet, you're not gonna have. Are you gonna have to go through a sec check or an introspection rundown or anything or a heritage?
They don't know that I'm here. I didn't ask anyone's permission to be here.
Do you understand that there may be a possibility that you'll have to clear up a PTS condition because of these here? Okay, right up. Fair enough.
Have any of your family members been considered PTS?
No.
So everyone in your family school with it, and
My brother, for a little while, he had some issues with it, and I sat down and discussed it with him, and we're totally cool.
okay. I'm interested in what you're talking about with the.
Let me get back to this in a moment, but I did see this comment here. Is it Lara or Lara? Some people get upset when I mispronounce that. I've never met Mark Bunker, but I have seen him as a protester when I was a child inside and watching him do all kinds of Scientology lead interviews to expose for so long. Very genuine soul, genuine. And somebody else suggested that, it was Kelly. Kelly said it'd be great if we did a chat together, and I would love that. So Lara or Lara or both, if you're interested, let's do that, because I'm always interested in finding out from someone who is inside the reaction of seeing people protesting and what impact it had on you, and find out your experiences. So if you're interested, let me know. I said it right both ways. How about that? Well, that makes things much easier. So back to the video. Just by doing this. See how simple it is?
Free thinkers. And one of the things that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the things that surprises me about Scientology is the slogan, think for yourself. And I find as people get deeper and deeper into Scientology, they are essentially parroting L. Ron Hubbard's words. It seems like people's realities are being replaced by L. Ron Hubbard's realities. So psychiatrists are evil, and Scientologists accept that as the truth. Scientology, psychiatry is behind all the evil on the planet. I also, I see that in many different ways and representations within Scientology.
I see. I think for myself, I think. It's hard when you're being subjective towards yourself sometimes to have a proper opinion of your own self. I think for myself. I hope I do. I read any book I want. I look at any internet site I want. And
You said you've been to my site.
yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you think of my site?
Well, I've seen pieces of it here and there. I think there's a lot of stuff on there that's, for example, some of the old issues that were cleared up are still brought up today as though they were still going on. Like, let's say, fair game.
Right.
Cancel. Not allowed.
Yeah,
You can't do
cancel.
anything illegal if you're a Scientologist. You can't. Or you just can't continue in Scientology.
And yet, Scientology continues to attack back anyone who criticizes them. We found, when I moved to Clearwater for a couple of years, working for the Lisa McPherson Trust, for instance, our vice president, Jesse Prince, who was once high in command inside Scientology, Scientology hired a PI to befriend him and actually gave him marijuana, and then called the police and had Jesse Prince arrested for having marijuana. And Jesse had to stand trial, and the jury found him not guilty.
Okay.
We tracked down one of the PIs involved in this, well, both of them. One of the PIs testified that he was paid $186,000 a year, just one person, to follow our movements
I can find
and to engage in.
I can find a cheaper PI than that.
Right, but do you think that a church?
I had to think of rockers. I had to fire a private investigator once. I had to kind of stuff and wacky.
But do you think that a church should be using parishioners' money for things like setting up critics on phony drug charges?
Of course not. I don't know if that's true because I wasn't there.
Well, that's on the website. I have the entire audio testimony of the trial from the courtroom on my website. You can check it out.
Okay, well, I say then to bring any charges through the legal system and call the cops and call the FBI if you feel there's a crime being committed. That's your right as an American citizen. It's your duty as an American citizen. It's my duty as an American citizen too, and it's my duty as a Scientologist. If I see a Scientologist doing something illegal, I got to stop because we're all going to get painted with a broad brush. If I see somebody doing in Scientology doing something wrong or illegal, and I don't step up and say, "Hey, knock it off,"
Right.
It's my damn fault. It's the same as a cop.
I respect that.
If a cop goes out and does something wrong or does something racist, all cops get painted with a broad brush, and that's not fair to police.
So if you see a Scientologist doing something which you believe is illegal, do you report it to the police, or how do you handle that?
I would first. Well, it depends on the severity of it.
Right.
If it's something actually illegal, yeah, I go right to the cops.
Okay.
Right to the cops. Absolutely.
But isn't it policy in Scientology to take issues to the church and use their internal justice system?
Pretty much on civil matters.
Right.
And such. But if there's a crime being committed.
And you say fair game was canceled. Have you read the fair game policy, and have you read the cancellation policy? Okay. So you're aware that the cancellation, which came a couple of years after the fair game policy, the cancellation says that the use of fair game is not allowed in any written text because fair game gives us bad PR.
No, it's a use.
This is exactly what it says.
Okay.
But it does not change anything about how we handle SPs.
Well, I don't. That's what it says. I've been a Scientologist since 71. I'll tell you, I would never do anything bad to an SP.
Well, I appreciate that.
I never would. I know.
Are there people within Scientology that might?
Them, I would certainly call them out and tell them to knock it the fuck off. Because that's not cool. That's not right. It's not legal.
So if we bring forth the incidents where we can show that Scientology has done that in the past, for instance, in their global assault on Bob Minton, you would condemn that?
Absolutely. Because, and understand also that Scientology is Scientologists, and Scientologists, just like there are Christians who may not uphold their faith and do something wrong in the name of Christianity, same as Islam. I've been to Malaysia and Indonesia many times. I have so many great friends that are Islamic people. I've been to Turkey and other Islamic countries. I got great friends there. I have so many great Islamic friends. So I don't paint Islam with that brush, but there are some people of the Islamic faith who don't like Americans and don't like the United States. So that doesn't paint the Islamic faith as being bad. That paints the individuals. And if there are bad individuals in Scientology, I believe they should be removed. I believe they should be taken care of. And I believe if they've done something illegal, they should have to pay the consequences in the court system and with the justice system. And that's a fact, and I'm sure you'll agree with me there.
I do.
Anyone would.
See my point?
That sounds great, but what about Mary C. Hubbard? Do you think she should have been kicked on the girl and SP for Scientology because she followed L. Ron Hubbard's orders of Snow White, Operation Freakout, and all that kind of thing? I mean, well, so you went to prison for that.
Yeah, that's not exactly what happened. So, okay, tell me what happened on your side. We had the documents planted in the church by federal agents.
Really?
What type of documents?
I don't know offhand, but it's documented. I can get documentation for it. Then the churches were raided to find those documents. It's a very common thing that happens with the government. Many people will believe all kinds of conspiracy theories about the government, about 9/11, about the Bush election, but they will rarely believe that the government may have actually had a bone to pick with Scientology and go after them. But in fact, I believe it's true that they have.
Oh, brother. You know, it's just amazing to think. And again, I really like Billy, and I appreciate him coming forward like this. But to really close your eyes to the fact that there is a stipulation of evidence in Operation Snow White that's how many hundreds of pages long? That detailing every single bit of the covert operation they ran, and still members aren't allowed to see that. They take the word from the church that hey, they were planting stuff on us. We were just trying to correct the record. Yeah. Anyway, it reminds me when I first moved to Clearwater in 2000. One of the things that I did was sign up for a course at the public access TV station. You had to go through, I think, like a 10-week course in order to get a public access show. And there was maybe 20 people that were in this class with me. On the first day, we all had to introduce ourselves and talk about what we wanted to do with the show. And I, of course, said, well, I want to do a show about occupied Clearwater and Scientology's involvement here and the run-ins I've had with Scientologists over the years. And I'm not sure that the folks running the program were thrilled to hear that. But I know for sure that 2 people who were in the course weren't happy about it, because they confronted me afterwards, telling me that they're Scientologists, and they were very upset that I was doing that. And I said, well, I hope in the course of this, classwork here, that we can become friends. And they had a different opinion. And the next week, just in case it came up, I brought along the stipulation of evidence from the Snow White trial. And I had it in my car. I didn't want to bring it out and, throw it in their face. But at the end of the class, they came up to me and said, we want you to read this. And it was the dead agent pack about me and Bob and everyone from the LMT. It was all these smears that Scientology put together about how evil we are. And I said, I'll be happy to read that. And I have something for you too. And I went and got them the stipulation of evidence and said, I'd like you to read this. And they refused to take it. And I said respectfully, why is it that I can read anything that you give me to read, but you refuse to look at anything that I would give to you? They didn't seem to find that reasoning was at all a solid argument, and they refused to take the stipulation from me. But it's like, amazing. And we continued to be in the class together, as far as I remember, and there was no big issue with it. But I mean, that's always something that just struck me. Okay, I will read your stuff. Now you can read mine. Oh, you can't read mine. How about that? I wonder if you think about that, why you're not allowed to read that. And I'm going to accept this wow as a reaction to my story. There you go. And it's funny you say I'm a rock star when I'm actually talking to the rock star. Billy Sheehan is an actual rock star. There are people who, when I put this online, because again, I listen to Mel Torme, Bing Crosby, and Rosemary Clooney, if not Stephen Sondheim musicals. And so Billy being out here on the street with his little cap on, didn't strike me as anyone who was famous. But when I put it online, people go, oh my God, Billy Sheehan. And he's had a long history as one of the best rock bass guitarists in the world. And with that, a really nice guy. So that's one thing I hope we can all take away from this, that here's a Scientologist who, okay, sure, he's not looking deeply into the criticism, and I'm sure he still hasn't. But, this is a far cry from what are your crimes. And let's get back to some more. Here we go.
And in this case, they did.
So you don't think that Mary Sue Hubbard actually was charged correctly for actually having people breaking into the government agencies, steal documents?
I believe she was. I don't believe she did that.
And you don't believe that Edward Hubbard died with psychiatric medication and bloodstream either?
I don't believe that. I know people who were there.
What about how Whitton died, committed suicide supposedly? Edward Hubbard's, son, and he was gay supposedly, but in Scientology you're not supposed to be gay because that's an aberration. After you're gay, you're one wood.
No, I have nothing against gay people. I had so many great gay friends, and
Well, it's policy. A 1-1 equals. That's not policy. A 1-1 is really your 1-1 is a gay person. That's what it killed. It's like policy for you. I can show you documentations. The first lesson I would have.
There's been times when I've been 1-1. Well, there's been times when everybody you move on that tone scale. You don't just say anything.
Specifically says that gay people are 1-1. Well, it's aberrant. That's what everyone says. Or whatever. How can his son be gay? He was a class 12 auditor.
I don't know. Well, but I know his other son very well. Arthur, I know his son. Beghe's house. Yes, this house I know very well. And, we can discuss this back and forth, unless all of us have documentation. That's why I think it's a good idea at some point for somebody to sit down and talk, right, and present things. Well, now discussing here and what have you, I think it's easy for things to get thrown out and thrown back and forth. But what I'm saying to you, right, though you are, I feel you probably have a lot of disagreements with the church. I'm saying with you, I'm not here to hate you or do anything but discuss it with you. Terrific. And maybe come to some kind of understanding.
I share your thoughts there, and I
appreciate that you do.
I will say though that when you say that the government planted documents, they didn't plant things like Operation Freakout, which was the covert operation to destroy author Paulette Cooper, who wrote the first critical book about Scientology.
Scientology, I read it.
Right. And they didn't plant Operation Snow White, which was Scientology's covert operation to systematically steal documents from the IRS and the FBI and other government agencies, which they did for
Well, that's one side of the story. And there is another side, my brother.
Well, the Church of Scientology stipulated both sides of the story when Mary Sue signed the government order that sent them all to jail.
We get back into you say one thing and I may say something else.
Right, but I'm saying things that are on record.
Me too.
That
things that are on.
That Scientology signed to say, okay, we admit this, we did this, we are guilty, and the top Scientologists, including Mary Sue Hubbard, went to prison. So that is not contested by either side.
Anything can be contested by any side. And I contest that the facts brought in that case, I don't know them all, I wasn't there. I don't know if all the court documents are available.
Yes, they are. They're on the web.
That down, we could sit down with it and discuss it and probably come to some conclusion as to what actually happened. And I believe, I don't believe that I completely know, but I brought, with all due respect, I don't know that you completely know either.
I believe that I completely know because the government took this to court, laid out the evidence. All that evidence was agreed to by Scientology when they said, yes, we did this. That's why it's called a stipulation of evidence, because both sides, the government and Scientology, agreed that this is what happened, and Scientology pled guilty to it, and their leaders went to prison. All that documentation is on the internet, so it is available.
On the internet.
No, all of that evidence. I have it on my website.
Yeah, there's a lot of
all of that evidence.
About Mother Teresa on the internet. There's things of the KKK on the internet. There's racist stuff on the internet. There's all kinds of documentation, but you never really know. And the only way we can really know, you're laughing at me.
I'm laughing because this is court stipulated that Scientology themselves said yes.
Critical thinking. He's not allowed to have critical. Dude, let's see. No, I'm critical thinking now. Definitely, you're getting a lot of trouble now. Sure, you'll be in the surplus to probably Scientology because when I was in Scientology, Jeff Kiros used to have me go out to San Francisco or we make a flight, and I would deal with. Thank you.
Let him finish his little thing, and then okay.
He says, "I'm sure Osa saying to out there, on my mother's life, I am here. No one from the church knows I'm here. But no one sent me. No one prepped me. No one talked to me about it. Nothing.
I accept.
Nobody knows I'm here.
I'll accept.
Mother's life, I swear to God, and my mom
See, this,
here because I want peace between people who disagree and people who have documentation like yourself.
right.
Maybe to come to a point where we can actually sit down and come to conclusions, and who knows who's right or who's wrong. But that's my fault.
Scientology
I
says
know.
there is no God.
I know.
OTA, there is no God. I believe in God. I believe when it gets OTA, you're going to realize, I know OTAs who are very religious people. What was that? I know OTAs who are very religious. Or when you get to that level, then you can tell if you change their mind. What about how when people are clear, they're not supposed to get full boost out of it? They're supposed to have memory clear that way.
According to the original postulate in Dianetics, he felt that's what it would be. In fact, I get bolts. I'm clear and I get bolts.
And so it didn't work. And then, but an OT is not supposed to get the, if you are getting sickness, you're obviously connected to an SP, suppressor, your PTS, that's policy. We'll see, right? Okay, so how can an OT be PTS? OTs die of cancer every day. True. Okay, there's something wrong there.
Well, yeah, it's a tangled web. Life is a tangled web. And I don't know all the answers.
Right.
I don't know all the answers.
I just want to compare a couple of things. When you said, Osa didn't send me here, on my honor, that's not the case. All right, I accept that. That's something that I don't have evidence of one way or the other, and I'll take you at your word for that. Okay. That's one type of anecdotal evidence. The other type is what I was talking about with court records such as Operation Snow White, where there is no dispute about what happened. It is settled. This happened, period. And for you to say it didn't happen or didn't happen that way,
I got your
that's just wrong.
May I interject? I would never be so foolish as to think an organization can't make mistakes or has enough that was wrong or had some people in it that were misguided. I don't know that. And so I would assume that that could very well be the case, that there could be people who were misguided, who were wrong, that did something wrong and maybe admitted to it. And then, if it's settled, then you move on. And I do believe, in my heart of hearts, that the real policy now is, well, just don't do anything illegal. You don't do anything, you can't do anything illegal. Even towards the situation here with the people that are protesting today.
Of course, like if L. Ron Hubbard writes something, that's source, that's solid. You can't change that. L. Ron Hubbard, no one can change it but L. Ron Hubbard. He's not here anymore. So can David Miscavige scroll it, change it? They can't. Okay, so it's something, a source that says this is what it is, that is what it is. Just like the theory game policy, when it was canceled, I think he would have
Ron canceled. L. Ron Hubbard
The
canceled.
point is that fair game cancellation, though, says what it says. It doesn't say we're not going to break any laws. It says for PR reasons.
At a time, in the early beginnings of Scientology, that policy was put forth. Later on, when re-examined, it was obvious that something like that is just a terrible thing and it's wrong and it's illegal. So it's canceled.
Well, what do you think about a church leader who creates something such as a fair game policy that says you can be lied to, tricked, sued, or destroyed by any means by any Scientologist without any retribution to the Scientologist? Is that really a churchly attitude?
No, it's not. And whoever came up with that,
L. Ron Hubbard.
Ron is perfectly capable of making an error, making a mistake, and correcting it later, like I am, and like you are, and like you are.
Okay. And apparently David Miscavige is repairing a lot of L. Ron Hubbard's mistakes because they just recently re-released many of the books again with a lot of changes.
I have all the originals. Personal. Me, on my dining room table, went through all the books to make sure all the things in the original were there, and all the things that are all in there. It's just to get punctuation corrections, and it's laid out better, laid out smarter. I compared to myself personal. And I still got all my old books.
What exact book are you talking about?
Yeah, you're on acid, dude. There's been chapters that have been added that don't appear by Dave Miscavige. I have no idea what you're talking about.
He personally edited every single one of those books. I disagree, my friend. Okay, it's not a matter of disagreeing, it's a fact. They were re-edited by him.
You wrote through books that weren't put in.
There's a book that was written by L. Ron Hubbard. 4 chapters into the book, it has a preface.
Exactly, and then you read it. Because the preface was supposed to be there.
Yeah, and they took out chapters. Okay? There's so many people that have the books and they compared them and they're different. So for you to say, let's see, it's just anybody could do it. It's not, it's that originally proved wrong. It's not the originals. Those books were edited and re-edited and things were taken out and things were edited by the editors, not L. Ron Hubbard.
Or some of the books that L. Ron Hubbard wrote, he never even read the final printed manuscript of. So for you to say that they were the same, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, let me.
No. You have no idea what you're talking about, because they're not the same.
All right, fair enough.
What about
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Have you seen that you know about Lisa McCurson? Yes, I do. Okay, what's in your understanding what happened to Lisa McCurson?
She died.
Okay, how did she die? Where was it?
She died of an embolism
Where?
in Clearwater Park.
Where was Holden? Where? Where was she?
Nobody. I stayed in that hotel many times. I never saw a cockroach once.
No, but where was she though?
At the Fort Harrison Hotel Library.
Okay. Is there any more information to me about that?
But she died of an embolism, and that the person that brought the suit had never even spoken to her in her adult life.
Okay, so what about she attacked 3?
I don't know.
You heard all that part of the information. That she psychoid. As it. See, days. After 17 days, he lost the dog. What was it? No reserve in body waste, guys. This interaction, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yes, I do.
I believe that you are telling what you honestly believe, and this is what you have been told by Scientology.
And what I've observed myself too.
Right, but you have not actually gone on. You have actually not gone out to read, for instance, the Snow White documents, which are available.
I've read Madman and Messiah. I've seen a zillion websites.
Do you think that Edward Hubbard Jr. then, Edward Hubbard's son, there was something wrong with him with writing that old book and going against the father? What's your opinion of Edward Hubbard Jr.?
On the guy who wrote Rent Trading?
Was it Edward Hubbard Jr. was all involved in the whole situation, tell her his part in it. What do you feel about Edward Hubbard Jr. with the whole situation going against his father?
Well, sometimes the son goes against the dad.
So what do you think about that? What did Edward has to pull that in? Edward Hubbard must pull that in for policy.
Maybe he did.
There we go.
Ron is just a man.
Are you at all troubled by the fact that there are so many documents about his life that seem to contradict many of the stories that Hubbard told about his life?
And the other hand, there are many documents that back it up too.
But you're not at all concerned that he was not a nuclear physicist, or
And he got an F on it? He got kicked out? Let's document all that.
Albert Einstein failed math.
and you believe that Albert Einstein and L. Ron Hubbard are on about the same par?
No. Completely different fields. Albert Einstein is an iconic, incredible genius, and Ron is only he is only what my opinion of him is. You know, which probably you're not saying the thing. I think he did a lot of good stuff, and I think he came with some great stuff that has been very effective and helpful to me. So I'm not trying to sway you. You got have your opinion to keep it, please.
Gotcha.
I respect you and back you up.
Okay. And I support your right to practice Scientology and audit, and I'm not trying to take that away from you one bit. You are free to do that.
What the Huda? Oh, well, I certainly, I don't think I paused it. I wanted to pause it. I didn't think it was near the controls, but as long as we're paused, let me just respond to T's comment here that he's very well trained. I don't think that Scientology trained him to go out and talk to critics. I think they'd rather not have anyone talk to the critics, probably. Clearly he's misinformed. He does not have all the facts on Lisa's death or Snow White, but I think he's being honest in what he's putting forth, being what he believes, and I think it's an incredibly positive thing that he's willing to have a discussion like this. I just wanted to stick up for Billy a little. Not that you were attacking him, T. I just think we need more conversations like this.
This is Mark Bucker from Xenu TV.
Hey, what the?
On February
For that.
Yeah, that's not exactly what happened.
Let's see where we were.
we did this. We are guilty, and the top.
What exact book are you talking about?
Yeah, you're on acid, dude.
Well, I wonder if
Where?
it.
In Clearwater Park.
Where was Holden? Where was she?
Well, I mean, this may have ended early. I think that was just the end of this conversation.
Nobody, I
There's
seen that
another
old time.
part.
I never saw a cockroach once.
No, but where was she though?
And the other hand, there are many documents that back it up too.
But you're not at all concerned that he was not a nuclear physicist or...
And he got outed. He got kicked out. Document all that.
Albert Einstein failed math.
And you believe that Albert Einstein and L. Ron Hubbard are on about the same par?
No. Completely different fields. Albert Einstein is an iconic, incredible genius, and Ron is only he is only what my opinion of him is. You know, which probably you're not saying a thing. I think he did a lot of good stuff, and I think he came with some great stuff that has been very effective and helpful to me. So I'm not trying to sway you. You got have your opinion to keep it, please.
Sure. I respect you and back you up. Okay. And I support your right to practice Scientology and audit, and I'm not trying to take that away from you one bit. You are free to do that.
All right. Well, I am trying to go to Xenu TV 1 and see if I can find that the ending for this. Let me do a quick search. Let's see. Here's 404. Let me share the screen and we can crank this up and see if that was all there was to it. So let me come back here into StreamYard. Thank you. And let me go here to share screen. And Billy Sheehan 404.
Like, everyone have rights of you. That's source. That's solid. You can't change that. No one can change it but L. Ron Hubbard. He's not here anymore. So can Dave Miscavige now scroll it, change it?
Yes, I do.
The fact that there are so many documents about his life that seem to...
Albert Einstein is an iconic, incredible, that has been very...
And I support your right to take that away from you one bit.
Right.
You are free to do that.
All right. So that is...
Well...
Oh, let's watch The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, shall we? All right. I clearly hadn't watched this video through. That is either everything that there was, and it had to be. They were all labeled 104, 204, 304, 404. So I guess it just ended. Once I find the raw tape, though, we will know for sure. I hope that you enjoyed that with its abrupt ending. And, I'll keep looking. I didn't mean to single out your comment. Is the guy under the mask there Mark Headley? No, I'm not sure who it was, but when Mark would come out to an anonymous protest, he would just show his face and be there to answer questions. Let's see. Power lies to paralyze. I hope you're able to maintain your opinion, Mark. After all, Billy was so convincing. Yeah, I think I came away with my convictions still in place there. And I think MH left in 205. MH? Who's MH? I guess now. Oh, Mark Headley. Okay. Yeah, and this was 2008, but I'm not sure that... Was Mark Headley in LA at that point? I don't think so. Trying to remember where... Yeah, I guess he was in LA. Is when I did the Jason Beghe interview, which would have been also 2008. My editing equipment died while I was putting that together, and I was living in San Diego. And he said, "Well, come up to my studio and you can edit it up here." So I'd already done like an all-nighter trying to put together what I had before my computer crashed. And then I hopped in the car and drove up there and did another all-nighter as I recaptured and re-edited the entire video. And I think I finished around 5 in the morning, as I recall, for the Jason Beghe video. I cut a short little teaser that I put up on YouTube, and then went back to work for a few more hours finishing up the full Jason Beghe interview. And I would check back on YouTube periodically to see people's reactions to it. And it was blowing up. And by the time I was finished editing the entire video, it had been picked up by newspapers and media sources. And I mean, it was like big news. So I was happy that I finished the whole video. And then I foolishly said, well, I'm going to drive home now, against the wishes of Tory, and I think Spanky was there as well, saying, just sleep here. I said, no, I'm fine. I can do it. That was foolish. It was incredibly foolish. The police pulled me over when I was about an hour away from San Diego, saying that people were reporting that I was weaving through the traffic. And so I had to, like walk the line and prove I wasn't drunk. I was just tired. And that woke me up. That gave me a good jolt. And I did drive home the rest of the way, but I drove home more alert than I was when I was drifting. So thank God nothing bad happened when I stupidly tried to drive home after pulling 2 all-nighters in a row. Anyway, there you go. That's my ending story. And this is the general consensus. Jason's interview gave me chills. Yes. It is the favorite of many people, Kelly. This gets the biggest reaction of anything I've ever put on my channel. People, there's always, every single day, there's people who are watching it and commenting about it. Lots of women are professing their love for Jason. They never mention me, but then I'm not on camera for that one, So I can see they're distracted by Jason and his movie star looks, for God's sake. Any date for the Jerry interview yet? Nope, and that's all my fault because I'm still trying to put stuff together for it. I would like to have footage to discuss with him, like him walking us through King Arthur's court. So, I'm trying, but it will happen. So what's the thing here? Cy Cater, that is the thing. This Scientologist seemed agreeable, but he was quite evidently misinformed about the practices of the organization proper. Well, I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, if you have a close friend who's screwed up, you don't want to believe the worst. If you devoted your life to this group, you're going to be slow in actually, listening to people who are critical of it. It takes time. This is 2008. I don't know if I think he's still in probably, but he was a good, he was a good person to talk to, and I appreciated it. And the fact that we kept up email communication for some time after that, I think shows that, he had a good heart. What's this question? Mark, do you plan to post or go live on Xenu TV 1 too? No, I don't think so. I don't have that one set up for monetization, and I'm going to try to do something different with it. I'm not sure exactly what though. My first thought is let's retheme that for the Church of Bunkology and Bunkinetics, which is probably what I will do. And then I would want to monetize it because, good Lord, I need the clicks. So I'm still considering that. I just got back into it just last night. And, well, this one was to T from Swedish Lena. Did you see my reply on the Swedish CCHR video? I'm explaining for my absence lately. Well, okay, that's private. All right, Kelly, calling me out. Oh, please. I've seen the chats where people are totally love bombing me. Yeah, sure. Sure. But how many proposals have I gotten? It's not like Jason. Good Lord. I should try to get another interview with Jason. I'm not sure he's interested. I did do a second interview with Jason. In fact, I just put a teaser up for it years ago. I interviewed him for the Knowledge Report film that I was making. And I specifically wanted to talk to him about Scientology's influence in showbiz and Hollywood. And he didn't seem at all interested in talking about that. So I don't think I got a lot from that interview. I haven't looked at it in years and years, but it's not the Sakaruni second sit down that would match the first one. And I think he was a little tired of talking about Scientology at that point. One thing he did tell me though was that that Jason Beghe interview that is online that got him a movie. It got him the sequel to Atlas Shrugged 2. And I tell you, I've looked at some of Jason's scenes from the sequel. I never watched the first one because it got such horrific reviews. Second one didn't get great reviews either, but he told me that the director of that film was watching that Jason Beghe interview and said, "That's the guy. That's the guy who's right for the main character that he was playing." So there you go. I want to. What do you want to know? I better put these glasses on. Jay says, I want to know what Jason experienced after that interview. I tell you what he experienced immediately. Because when I put the interview up, as I said, there was so much attention around the world on it, and everyone wanted to interview him. And they had me as a contact. So they arranged to do an interview. I think it was one of those shows like A Current Affair. It wasn't that one though, but it was. Geez, I can't think of the name of it now. But it was one of those daily quasi newscasts where they do public human interest stories. A lot of those. And they had arranged to interview Jason, and they got up to his home in Malibu. And when they got there with the film crew, he just said, "I don't want to do it." So the producer called me from his home, outside the house, going, "Can you talk him into doing it? Can you?" So I called Jason, and he said, "Bunky, I want to make sure I'm doing this for the right reason. I don't want this to be." He was worried that he wanted to share his story, and he did that in the interview. But I think he was concerned that this was too much publicity, or he didn't want to exploit it in some way, because the media wants to exploit it. The media wants to get there and have him curse on camera for them, because that's ratings. Everyone's talking about this. So he just wanted to make sure that he was doing it for the right reason, and he refused to talk to them or anyone else for the longest time. And clearly he didn't shut all of this out, because he went over to Germany when Anonymous hit, and talked there, and talked a couple different places. But he just didn't want to exploit it. I think he said he just wanted to move on. Yep, that's true. Jason Beghe's best work is his interview with Bunker. LOL. I disagree. You got to see Monkey Shines. When I was interviewing Jason, I was told, he's an actor. He's a successful actor. I didn't really know him, though, and I'm a movie buff. And I sat down and was doing the interview with him, and still really couldn't place him. But then I looked him up online afterwards and realized, he starred in this movie I enjoy from George A. Romero, the director of Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. I love George A. Romero. He's one of my favorite directors. And Jason plays the lead in that film. He's an athletic guy who gets into an accident that paralyzes him at the beginning of the film. And the whole story is about him having to go through rehabilitation, and they get him a helper monkey. And the helper monkey starts committing murders. and that's the plot line for it. But he's very good in it. I watched it again after I had sat down and did the interview with Jason. It's not a classic movie by any means, but I think anything that George Romero set out to do, it's usually has more thoughtfulness to it than most horror films do. And Jason's done some really good work. I know that people absolutely love Chicago PD, and I haven't watched much of it. I watched a few episodes in the first season, but network TV I don't get that involved with. But I think Jason's very talented. Jason knows how it works. That's good to know, Mark. Let's see. Jason didn't want to be that dancing monkey. You are correct, Swedish Lena. That boils it down right there. That's it in a nutshell. There you go. LOL. So I haven't really talked to him since then. When I was doing Knowledge Report, he was on board for that, and he wanted to get somebody involved in Hollywood to make it happen. So I went up and met this guy. And I don't remember his position or what he did at that point, but the guy listened to my pitch for the Michael Moore type of semi-comical look at Scientology and my experiences and all the background of Scientology. And Jason had a different idea for the film. He wanted to do, he called me one day and said, "Bunky, I got an idea. Let's do this thing where, I'm just going to sit down and have a meal with different people, and we'll just talk about Scientology, kind of my dinner with Andre type of thing. but with a number of people, and it'll be talking about Scientology, the good and bad. And I said something like, well, there's not going to be a lot of good. And, oh, you can't think that way, Bunky. Can't think that way. So he wanted to go that direction. So, and I just continued filming my own thing after that. Nothing at all critical of Jason in that, because he knew Scientology far better than I did, and he had a take for what he wanted to do with it. Anyway, I think I think that I am talked out. I've enjoyed spending some time with you. You know what I'm going to try to do sometime soon is we were talking about Jesse being set up on this drug bust, and that I've got the audio of his trial. I wasn't allowed to film any video of it, but I was able to take my equipment and set up and record the audio of it. And I think I'll go through that and just find some really interesting arguments, and especially the PI that had to come and testify about how Scientology hired him and how he set up Jesse and all this kind of stuff. I think that would make for an interesting video. So look for that at some point. And, take Kelly's suggestion here. If you haven't signed up to be a member of the channel, please do so. Link to subscribe. If you want to gift some memberships, that's terrific. Anything you can do to help keep the lights on here at Xenu TV, greatly appreciated. Okay, Jason has this is the important thing to know about everything we've talked about tonight. Jason has a deep and unique voice. He certainly does. Okay. Let's see. That's what she said. I'll be singing "What Are Your Crimes, Mark?" as I head to bed. Well, sweet dreams to you. I hope that just conjures up all sorts of lovely adventures for you while you're sleeping. And Swedish Lena, thank you so very much, Mark. We're so enjoying spending time with you. We appreciate to rewatch your videos in 4K. Love from Australia. Well, love from Clearwater back at you. And to everyone who's been tuning in, I really appreciate you coming here for this. I know, I mean, the time of the night is not the best time to be doing this, but you folks have been up and ready to join in the fun, and it does make it much more fun to be able to chat with you here like this. And from Jay, take care, Mark. Until next time. And seeing Bub in 4K was wild. That's the type of excitement you can find here only on Xenu TV. Bub in 4K. All right. More wondrous things in the future. Come on back again. As for now, I'm just going to say good night, everybody. Good night.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.